Hey everyone! Welcome to the Bold and Beautiful 24. I'm Alessio, and I'm so excited to have you here. If you love Bold and Beautiful, then you're in the right place. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Alright, let's dive right in. Liam has a secret operation. Poppy has regrets. The silence in Finn's office was broken only by the occasional beep from a monitor down the hallway. Finn sat behind his desk, the weight of everything that had happened in recent days clearly showing on his face. Across from him, Bridget leaned forward, her tone calm but thoughtful. "I just keep thinking about how much Liam has gone through," Bridget said softly. "And through it all, he's been so composed. He took a bullet for Steffi. That's not just bravery, that's love." Finn nodded, his jaw clenched a little tighter than usual. "It's been hard watching Steffi try to hold it together," he admitted. "She keeps saying she's fine, but I know she's scared out of her mind. She won't say it, but I can see it. This whole thing with Liam is shaking her." Bridget looked at him, sympathetic. "How are you holding up?" He gave a short, dry laugh. "Trying to be the strong one. But honestly, it's hard watching someone who's always been so steady suddenly become so vulnerable. Especially knowing there's nothing I can do." Just then, there was a knock at the door, and Poppy stepped inside, looking unsure of herself. Her eyes were rimmed with red, and she clutched her purse like a lifeline. "I'm sorry to interrupt," she said hesitantly. "But I needed to talk to you, Finn." Bridget stood. "I'll give you two some privacy," she said gently, brushing past Poppy with a small nod. Once the door clicked shut, Poppy remained standing near it for a moment. Then she slowly stepped forward. "I haven't stopped thinking about everything," she said, voice low. "About Luna. About you. About what I kept from both of you." Finn looked up, but didn't say anything. Poppy took a breath. "I've been living with this guilt. For years, I convinced myself I was doing the right thing, protecting Luna, sparing everyone pain. But all I did was rob her of the chance to know you, and rob you of the chance to know your daughter." She paused, then added, "And now she's gone. And I can't fix any of it." Finn's expression stayed guarded. "I can't forget the things Luna did, Poppy. I know she was struggling, but what she did, it changed everything." "I know," she said, her voice breaking. "I'm not asking you to forget. Or even to forgive me. She was our child. She may have been disturbed, but she was ours. And now there's nothing but silence. I keep wondering, do you feel that emptiness too?" Finn didn't answer right away. His eyes flicked to the window, as if searching for something out in the distance. "I don't know what I feel," he said finally. "She made choices that hurt people I love. I don't even know how to process all of it. But right now, my focus is on Liam." A knock on the door interrupted the conversation, and a nurse stepped in. "Dr. Finnegan, you're needed in room 4. Finn stood. "I have to go." Poppy nodded, tears welling in her eyes. But Finn didn't linger. He stepped past her and out the door, leaving her standing there with all the words she hadn't gotten to say. Across town, Forrester Creations. At Forrester, the atmosphere was tense but hopeful. Steffi stood in the design office with Hope and Carter, replaying everything that had happened in her mind. "He saved my life," she said softly. "Liam literally jumped in front of a gun for me." Hope nodded. "It doesn't surprise me. That's who he is." Carter added, "He didn't hesitate. He put himself on the line. That's not something everyone could do." Brooke entered the room then, overhearing the last part of the conversation. "Liam Spencer is a true hero," she said, walking over to them. "I couldn't agree more." They all stood in silence for a moment, thinking about Liam and what he was going through. "I just wish the rest of us had known about his condition sooner," Brooke said. "We could have been there for him." Hope shook her head. "He didn't want anyone else to know. He made that clear. He didn't want pity. He didn't want to be treated like he was already gone." The room fell quiet again. Carter turned to Steffi. "It must have been hard, watching him shoot someone." Steffi looked down. "It was awful. He didn't have a choice. Luna was out of control. She kept showing up, trying to force herself into Finn's life. And when she showed up with a weapon, I don't even want to think about what could have happened if Liam hadn't acted. Do you think it's weighing on him? Carter asked. Having to shoot someone? Of course it is, Steffi replied. That's not something you just walk away from. No matter what she did, she was still someone's daughter. Hope looked at her. You mean Finn's? Steffi nodded. Yeah. Brooke folded her arms. How is Finn dealing with it? Steffi sighed. He's been quiet. Detached. I think he's feeling a lot, but he's burying it. The conversation drifted back to Liam. Do we know when he'll be back? Brooke asked. Steffi shrugged. I doubt he'll come home right away. If Bill has anything to say about it, Liam will be staying at his place once he's out. Hope exhaled. I'm just thankful we got more time with him. That Luna didn't take him from us for good. Back at the hospital, Liam's room is empty. Bridget walked into Liam's room expecting to check on him, but the bed was empty. Frowning, she turned to see April, one of the lab techs, enter with a file. Do you know where Liam is? Bridget asked. April blinked. Oh, he was released this morning. Dr. Buckingham signed off on it. His father picked him up. Bridget's eyebrows shot up. Bill. April nodded. Yep. Everything was processed. Fully authorized. A moment later, Finn walked by in the hallway and Bridget rushed to catch up with him. Liam's gone, she said, breathless. April just told me. Grace released him into Bill's care. Finn frowned. What? He was in no condition to leave. Why would Grace do that? I don't know, Bridget said. But she wouldn't have done it lightly. And Bill, he must have had a plan. I'm guessing he has a full medical team with him. Still, Finn said, shaking his head. This feels strange. Like something's being kept from us. Whatever it is, Bridget said, we know Bill would move heaven and earth to save his son. Maybe that's exactly what he's doing. Inside a discreet, high-security clinic far from the bustling center of Los Angeles, Liam sat upright in a hospital bed, staring at the clean, white walls. The air in the room was crisp and sterile, but the weight pressing down on his chest came from something deeper, uncertainty, fear, and the gravity of the choice he was about to make. Bill stood by the window, arms crossed, clearly doing his best to mask his nerves. He turned to face his son. You're thinking too hard, Bill said gently. You've got a shot here, Liam. A real one. Just take it. We don't have to tell anyone anything until we know it worked. Liam managed a weak smile. You're making it sound so simple. It is simple, Bill said. You want to live, don't you? Before Liam could answer, the door opened and Grace Buckingham walked in. Her coat was draped over her arm, and her expression was one of calm urgency. She nodded at Liam, then looked at Bill. I know this feels secretive, she said, addressing Liam directly. And I know it's scary. But I wouldn't be here if I didn't believe in this doctor. I trust him with my own life. And I trust him with yours. Bill looked at Liam. Let's do this. Moments later, the surgeon arrived. He looked confident but quiet, the kind of man who let his work speak for itself. After brief introductions, he and Grace began prepping Liam for surgery. A nurse fitted Liam within 4 as monitors were wheeled in and adjusted. Everything was moving fast, and yet time felt suspended. As the final prep was underway, Grace took Bill aside near the door. I need to get the transfer processed now, she whispered. It has to be wired in full before we start. Done, Bill said immediately. He pulled out his phone. I'll handle it. As he punched in a message to Colby, his assistant, he glanced back at Liam and whispered to himself, whatever this costs, it's worth it. When he stepped back over to Liam's bedside, he rested a hand on his son's arm. I love you, son. I love you too, Dad, Liam replied, eyes already heavy with sedatives. I'll be right outside, Bill promised, and then slowly stepped out of the room. The hall outside, a father's desperation. Bill walked down the narrow corridor, phone pressed to his ear. Colby, wire the full amount now. Grace will send the account details. Make it happen. After he ended the call, He stared at his phone for a moment. Then he looked up at the ceiling, his chest heaving with emotion he could no longer hold in. "If you're listening," he murmured, "don't take him. Please, take me instead. Just let Liam live. He doesn't deserve this." For all his strength and bravado, Bill Spencer was just a father begging for a miracle. Inside the operating room, the lights were bright. The room was cold. Liam was unconscious now, hooked up to several machines monitoring his heart, oxygen, and brain activity. Grace stood beside the lead surgeon, gloved and focused. "Vitals are stable," the anesthesiologist called out. Grace nodded. "Scalpel." They began. Each movement was precise. There was no room for hesitation. This wasn't just about saving a life. It was about beating the odds that everyone said were impossible. The tumor wasn't large, but it was embedded in an extremely delicate area. One mistake could cost Liam everything. But there were no mistakes. Back in the waiting room, Bill sat alone. His legs bounced nervously. His hands were folded so tightly his knuckles were white. After what felt like hours, his phone buzzed. A message from Colby confirmed the wire transfer was complete. But the money didn't matter anymore. The only thing that mattered was what was happening behind that door. He wiped his eyes and looked up again. "Please," he whispered. "Please don't let him die. The surgery ends." Eventually, the OR doors opened. Grace stepped out, still in her scrubs, mask hanging from one ear. Her eyes met Bill's, and he immediately stood. "Well?" he asked, voice barely steady. Grace smiled faintly. "He's in recovery. The surgery is over." Bill didn't move at first. He stared at her, trying to absorb the words. "He made it?" he asked cautiously. "He's stable," Grace confirmed. "The tumor is gone." Bill's knees nearly gave out. "I want to see him. Now." Grace led him into the recovery room. Liam was there, hooked up to machines, unconscious, but alive. "He'll be out for a while," Grace explained. "But the surgery went as well as we could have hoped. We pulled off something most people would call a medical miracle." Bill sat beside him and reached for his son's hand. "They told us there was no hope. They said he was out of time." "Well," Grace said gently, "sometimes science finds a way. Sometimes people fight harder than we expect." Bill looked at her, his eyes filled with gratitude and disbelief. "He's going to live." "That's what I believe," Grace said. "We'll monitor him closely over the next few days, but yes, there's a very real chance Liam will survive this." Bill leaned forward, brushing a strand of hair off Liam's forehead. "You hear that, kid? You're gonna make it." Grace stepped back, giving them space. And for the first time in what felt like forever, Bill allowed himself to breathe. Back at the hospital, Bridget and Finn grow suspicious. Later that afternoon, Bridget stood outside Liam's old hospital room, looking at the empty bed again. "I still can't believe he's just gone," she muttered. Finn joined her, arms folded. "I don't know what Bill's up to," he said. "But if this was about an experimental surgery, if that's what this was, then they may have just given him the only shot he had left." Bridget looked at him. "Do you think he'll survive?" Finn exhaled. "If he's in good hands, maybe. But it depends. And we won't know unless someone tells us the truth."